Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Could you imagine if you could continue with your journey of life and be happy, to take your power back, your confidence comes back, and just change the way things are going on in a positive direction? And we have somebody here that can definitely help you out with that. She's a licensed hypnotherapist, a therapist, and a counselor as well. And Uri Lee joins us. Hi, Uri. How are you doing?
Hi, Steve. I'm doing really well. Today's full moon, by the way.
It's what?
Full moon.
Say again.
Full moon.
Oh, the full moon. We definitely got to talk about the full moon. Yeah, I thought it was tomorrow. I didn't know it was tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually tomorrow.
Am I right? I'm
Yes, you're right.
no.
It
Okay.
is tomorrow. I was confused.
Gotcha. Either way, it's coming. And I've also heard too that there's always like a pre-phase, like 7 days before, 7 days after.
Mhm.
People are different, things change. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. There's so many misconceptions about the full moon. Do you feel that it truly changes people?
It's activating a lot of your emotions. That's what the moon does. The moon is really connected to emotions. Moon moves a lot of emotions and all the waves on the earth.
Mhm.
So moon's very powerful, but people actually really are not aware of that and just kind of ignore, and then it doesn't really matter full moon or new moon or no moon. It really matters. A lot of people who knows the power of moon energies and star energies, they really facilitate their intention setting on these days.
Hmm.
Like even the business people, a lot of like CEO of corporations and um, politicians, they really do utilize these dates.
Wow. So I was just talking to somebody the other day. This was yesterday. And they said, "Wow, I'm like exhausted. I'm feeling tired." I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's a time change probably." And they said, "Wait a minute, it's Wednesday. I should be over it by now." And then I realized the full moon was coming, and that can also make you tired as well. Have you heard that?
Yes, I heard that a lot. I have experienced that a lot myself. And once you're more in tune with your body and mind, then you can really tell, oh, what's the timeline right now? And oh, no wonder it's a full moon coming up.
Hmm.
We are
What
on.
suggestions do you have for people listening, watching, when there's a full moon approaching, what they should be doing?
Yeah, so I know that not everybody can attend full moon ceremonies like I facilitate every
Right.
month. I do that in Sedona, and people are coming here from all over the world actually to be part of it. And that's one of the best way that I recommend if you can do it. If you're alone, there is no other way of a circle going on, then really find that moment for either yourself or to a like-minded people to be gathered in a circle and really celebrate what you have done for the month. Because the full moon represents the total manifestation, it's time of fruition. And it is important that we really are putting our gratitude on whatever that we have done, we have manifested. With that, we can also start sending the intention out to the ether and clear intention, because knowing what you have accomplished, it can also give you a very clear path of where you want to go. So with that, you also ask yourself of what is it that I want to manifest, I want to achieve, and what could possibly on your way to achieve what you really want. And then there may be something coming up, and the full moon really brings it out, whatever you're struggling with. And then you deal with it. You deal with that emotions, really talking about it. And if you feel like you want to cry about it, and if you want to really scream about it, that's what a lot of wolves does, right? During the full moon, they have
Hmm.
to howl.
Interesting. Yeah. I,
Right.
I never thought of that analogy, but it's kind of it's true. And you know, I firmly believe that many of us have so much going on inside and just keep it inside. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with yelling while you're
Mhm.
driving. You know,
Yeah.
not at anything in particular. Maybe it is someone, whatever it might be, but you got to let it out because
Gotta
keep it.
let it go.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's damaging to keep that
Yes.
inside you.
Absolutely. The sickness, diseases, and health condition all comes in by holding it in. And full moon is a great time for you to really, okay, I have accumulated both good and bad. You do. You
Yeah.
have accomplished, manifested certain things, but at the same time, you could have also accomplished something negative. So it's a good time for you to celebrate your manifestation, but at the same time, you like really let go. Let go of whatever is holding inside of you. So when I am facilitating the full moon ceremony, I incorporate breath work. So you breathe through, you like let it out by breathing with a little intensity. What happens is you start actually letting things inside of you go by breathing. You start crying, you start really screaming.
Absolutely. Yep. And
Mhm. And
I want to share something with you just about what you're talking about. And
yeah.
a lot of this is new for me
Hmm.
in my journey. But a couple of weekends ago, I did a cacao ceremony. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I facilitate that as well.
Do you really? Okay. So, first time I ever did it, you drink this ceremonial cocoa that comes from Costa Rica. It's pure, it's got the most magnesium of anything on the planet. They have to add agave or sugar or something just to sweeten it up because it's very bitter. And it's
Hmm.
supposed to give you euphoric properties. So I drank it. We did a meditation.
Hmm.
Then we laid down on mats. And
Hmm.
then that's where the breath work came in. And you say the word work, it was work. And it was like, inhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale for about 15 minutes. I have to tell you, Uri, after that 15-minute period,
Hmm.
I everybody in the room was crying. People were
Hmm.
shaking.
Yes.
It was somewhat life changing. Like I was thinking of things that I was trying to release, one
Hmm.
thing in particular, and I just kept repeating it over and over as I'm shaking. I felt cold, and it wasn't cold in the room, but it
Hmm.
was to your point. Um, there are
Really.
things that you can do, and it can change you. It can release energy that you can't get out of you. So yeah, kudos to you for facilitating the cacao ceremonies as well.
Yes, I actually just did one in February 14th for Valentine's Day. Perfect day to actually celebrate cacao
Sure.
ceremony and really giving that love back to yourself rather than trying to please other people, partners. So I created a circle that how about we celebrate the love for ourselves, and then we did cacao. Um, and the journey, the ceremonial journey with that. So
Yeah.
it's really important these days because including myself, like we know how to please others and
Hmm.
sacrifice yourself and spend a lot of energy. And it's so unconscious, so it's ingrained in you. So you don't know if that's what you're doing, but your body will tell you later on if you did too much of it. You start breaking down and you start having body aches and pains. And it's time really for you to assess, what you're doing for yourself. So breath work is excellent way to release. By breathing it out, you really get a lot of things accumulated emotionally out of your body. Energetically really does that really great work. And after that, you feel lighter, you feel more loving towards to yourself and to others. You feel more clear. So it's a great way to incorporate into any kind of ceremony.
So I want to say to you that you are so on target about pleasing and taking care of other people. Guilty as charged.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it's one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life because I took care of other people, but one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life because I didn't take care of myself. And I'm feeling the after effects of that now. So that's why I had to change things and go on a different journey to work on me
Yes.
because I worked on everybody else.
Right.
And that being said, the breath work. Can you give us examples of what we can do, Uri, even just on a basic level? You're driving in the car, you're sitting at home. What would be some techniques that we could do that would be beneficial to cleanse or clear things out?
So while you're driving, you really have to be careful because it can take you to another consciousness level.
Sure.
So I don't recommend you doing that. But
Yeah,
if you
forget I said that. Forget I said that.
but you know what's really good during the driving is actually taking a deep breath. You know, when somebody's cutting you off
Yeah.
and you are on a traffic, which is very common in our modern life, right? What you want to do is like really instead of like saying, you know, F you and all that to people who is cutting you off and with the traffic, you know, it's a great time for you to actually relax into it, and then taking that moment for with some kind of nice, you know, classical music, and we just take a breath, you know, really deep breath in and out, and you just do it for 3 times. Deep breath in and out. If you just do it really slowly, but really inhale from your belly and exhale like everything that you can exhale out slowly, just 3 times you do that, it will change the um, your way of being in that space and be able to handle the stress in traffic a little bit, you know, more ease. At
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. I tell you, I used to work with a guy
Mhm.
who, when things got, and he was actually my boss, and we're great friends. And this is going years, but when things got kind of challenging, I look at him and he's like, and I'm thinking, what is he doing? What I didn't get it at the time,
Mhm.
but he is now I realized one of the most spiritual people I know, regular guy, but
Mhm.
he's grounded, um, positive. But that's what he used to do back in the day. He would just, when things got a little tense, he just like a breath in and breath out, and then let's deal with the situation. Now I get it. Uh,
And and because it's just so easy and simple, you don't have to try to memorize the technique. All you have to do is 3 deep breath, and anybody can remember that, right? If it becomes a little bit more technical, then people forget and just give up,
I
right?
agree. Yeah.
Right.
And there's other techniques I've heard, 4 in, 4 out, and all different. But you know what? The results, the goal is the same. Just breathe
Mhm.
in and breathe
Yeah.
out, but
Yeah.
slowly. And like
Yeah.
you said, from your belly, your diaphragm, should you have an intention in your mind when you let that breath out?
Well, it just depends on the settings. If you're driving, you know, the intention is to calm your mind so that you're not being stressful with the situations. If you're doing it at home, you can do it in a little bit more deeper way than just the 3 deep breath.
Hmm.
And you can incorporate 5 minutes breath, 10 minutes breath work. I mean, those are a great way to start your day. I usually just try to breathe in and out during my meditation in the morning. When you're stressed out, when you are challenged with your ex and dramas, then I usually go into meditation and just try to slowly breathe it through. But for some people, it's beneficial if they just go into a space and just try to do breath of fire. So that is breathing in a little bit faster way for a period of time or the count, right? And in 3 sets you do that, and you can always Google, you know, what's going on that. It's a very simple breath work that can also calm yourself down, and you can do that with your intention, whatever the intention is at the moment. You know, you don't want to put out an intention like 10 different intentions whenever you're doing. You just want to put out a one thing that you really want to be at with your emotional state is what I recommend.
Gotcha. So along with that, the energy worth, the breath work, and the facilitating different ceremonies, you are a licensed hypnotherapist. So,
Right.
and is that one of the main things that you do?
Main thing, I'm really good at connecting people's mind. Like, you know, they have like 1,000 different thoughts, and what I'm best at is connecting all of that you feel lost and confused. So my best gift for my experience has been connecting those dots for people so that they can have a clear direction to move forward. Hypnotherapies, past life regression, breathworks are a great way to get to understand yourself in deeper level, and not everyone is up for it. Some people are scared of their going back to visit their past and being in that ceremonial space because they're not ready for it. They're afraid to get to that space, right? But if you're ready for it, those are tools and a modality you can include, because some people are just have this idea of, I know something happened in my past life that is holding me back. And it's more likely that's the truth.
Yeah.
And it usually happens in your lifetime at the moment with the current situation, current challenges that you're dealing with. 100% you were dealing with the same type of situation, and you just didn't have a way to resolve it back then, so that you're bringing it back to this lifetime to deal with it. So my recommendation is really go and find out what happened, and then you can make that connection, and then you know how to move forward.
Yep.
And that's when you can actually really leave your past behind and move forward with your current life. Many of us are still living in our past. And when I talk about past life regression, it's like, why can't we just move forward? Why do we have to do past life? But the thing is, because you are still living in your past.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can't fix the problem unless you know what the problem is. And
Exactly.
some of us might know where the issues lie, and it might not be a past life, it might be your childhood. But
Correct. Yeah.
until you identify it and figure it out. And I think the other part of it is, if you look at what happened in your childhood and you're looking at it as a child in your mind now, if you go back, let's say you get hypnotized, now you look at it from the standpoint of being an adult, and it's a whole different thing, but you need to be hypnotized to feel that and experience it and work on it.
Right. Because we get confused because we still have the inner child in us
Yep.
with belief system that I'm not lovable, not good enough to be loved, right?
Hmm.
But you get confused with the conscious mind as an adult. I why shouldn't I be loved, by others? And then there is a conflict going on in your subconscious mind. And because you left your child, back in that place with the thoughts and beliefs that I'm not good enough to be loved. So unless that gets canceled, you're still kind of juggling and conflicting yourself.
It's Thank you for making that very clear, because it is really crystal clear what you just said.
Mhm.
How difficult is it to break that when you hypnotize somebody, or even maybe past life, whatever it might be? How challenging is that? Is it usually successful?
Well, it is successful, but you need to commit to yourself to reprogram your mind. It takes about 30 days for you to have that thoughts and beliefs to be reprogrammed, right? Just like food, you wanna become, you know, not a coffee drinker anymore. It takes a little bit of time and commitment to really not drinking coffee. I'm going to drink tea, and then you have to stay on it. Same thing with programming your mind. You carried on this belief system. Let's say it was 5 years old, you were left alone, you felt abandoned because your father left, right?
Hmm.
And then to break that pattern, you have to go back and really deal with it, deal with all the emotions that got created and stuck in you. So we do that, but then you know it wants to come back, and then wait a second, but I still remember that. So you have to really reprogram your mind, and it takes minimum 21 days for your mind to accept the new thoughts or habits to be solid in you. And you have to remember that you were operating that system for what, if you're 35, 30 years in your life. So for you to think that it can just be done within one session, that's a lie.
Yeah.
It can have a good impact, but you need to reprogram your mind, do the meditation practices, and probably need a little bit more help to really get it over and be done with.
So what you just described, that situation,
Mhm.
we'll just use that as an example. How many hypnotherapy sessions do you think it would take to cure somebody of that that feeling of abandonment or feeling like I don't want to be alone or I'm always going to be alone?
Well, it really depending on how much work you have done for yourself. So it's really by person at a time. Um, I don't think that one session does it. Sometimes one session does some miracles and
Mhm.
opening up your mind and really get on the right track. For people who has done a lot of work, and then it's just that one part that was the root cause that if you have the intention to break it down, you can do it in one or two sessions. But if you are really struggling and your life is miserable, then there are a lot of things that you may have to touch, and then it may need a few sessions. But what I can tell you is hypnotherapy, especially the kind that I do, RTT, is very rapid transformational technology. It exceeds the typical therapy, talk therapy that would take 10 years. And then you sit in that place. The
Hmm.
hypnotherapy that I practice, 10 years therapy, you could probably do it in a year. It takes a year of talk therapy, you could probably do it in 3 4 times of sessions.
So RTT,
Hmm.
um, I've heard of something, and I don't know if this is the same thing, where you tap on a acupuncture point while you're talking to somebody. Is that the same thing as RTT?
That's tapping. That's to remove the emotions by tapping certain meridian point.
Yeah.
So that helps remove the energies, trapped emotions, which is a great technique. Then, and if you know how to do that, it's a great way to remove the emotions because we inhale all different kind of emotions every single day. So the reason why I recommend several hypnotherapy sessions with people with really severe abandonment issues does not just come from one incident. It usually comes from your childhood, um, when you are conceived in your mother's womb. Many incidents, many belief system really occur from when you are, when you're conceived, and you hear everything, you feel everything around your mother and father. And then when you're growing up, during the school, you get bullied. A lot of this history needs to be all addressed and broken down
Wow.
to build up your new way of being.
So let's take everybody through a hypnotherapy session. They go to your website, HealwithUri, that's URI.com. They book a session
Yeah.
and you can do it virtually. What's it
Yes.
like? All right, we're gonna we can't do it because we only have a couple of minutes left, but say we're gonna do a session, you're gonna hypnotize me, we're gonna take me back. A lot of issues from my childhood, whatever. Um, am I in a comfortable space? Could I be just sitting here? How does that work?
You definitely want to be in a comfortable space, and it would be great if we can do one a live you that we can share if
I'm
you're up for
ready.
it.
I'm ready to go. Can it be done? All right. So we have, 30 minutes when we talk. We can't do it today.
Mhm.
Um, what can you do in a period of time like that?
What I can do is we can I don't know. We have to come up with an idea, but I can definitely put you back to your childhood
Hmm.
with some questions, and we can visit the scene of one scene
So
that is
I have an
really,
idea. I have an idea.
yes.
Let's do that, but not do it
Okay.
live because we'll record it. No, we'll definitely record it and
Yeah.
play part of it back. But just I don't know what you're going to find out because maybe I don't know. I have ideas,
Mhm.
but there might be things coming out of there that I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, a live meaning, doing it like this. Yes, we can definitely. I would love to be able to take you back,
sure.
um, and record some portion. Well, I don't know if we want to record every portion, but maybe we can record some portions
Right.
and be able to share with your audience. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'm totally on board for that. It's kind of exciting
Yeah.
just to go through the process. And especially a lot of what you said, as a after being conceived in the womb, hearing things, how powerful is that? I mean, let's just say there was conflict in your house and things going on, and you're hearing it and it made an impression, and now it lives with you, in you, until you
Yeah.
fix it.
So what happens is people have no idea you can do that. And most times they go back and then they don't know where they are. They're like, I don't know where I am. It's just really dark, but it's warm. And I try to have them describe how it feels. And suddenly they start hearing their moms and their dad's conversation. It just comes out of them. And sometimes they feel the mother's emotions because it's directly related to you. You're in your mother, so
Right.
you feel everything that your mother is feeling. And it creates very powerful belief. And then it can actually act as both positive and negative in a way that you become the hero for your mother. But, deep inside of you, you're not taking care of yourself, though. You're taking care of your mother because you don't want your mother to go through what she went through around that time. So you become the hero for your mother, taking care of her. But you also, leave yourself behind.
Wow. What this all says is, we always talk about when you're younger, we talked about this before, how your childhood really dictates your future.
Yes.
That right there, I mean, you're not even out of the womb, and the things that you're experiencing could be your present.
Yeah.
It's let's hope that you had a good upbringing, but a lot of us didn't. And unfortunately, like we've talked before, if you're somebody that experienced things in your past, whether you know it or not, you're passing it on to your kids because you don't know how to deal with it. You were never taught how to deal with it. Wow.
We never had these tools. So, this is a new tools. I mean, traditional therapy has been around with us for hundreds of years, but not the hypnotherapy is fairly still new.
Yep. And a lot of the other techniques like the RTT and you know what it is? The foundation for everything we're talking about has been around for centuries, but it's just been updated for today's world.
Yeah.
It's always great talking with you. That you make it clear, and I appreciate that. Get right to the point. Tell everybody how they connect with you.
Yes, you can find me at HealwithUri.com in my website, or I'm on Instagram, HealwithUri, or Facebook, Uri Lee. I'm also on YouTube, Uri Lee. There are a lot of food items right now, but it's going to be more of consciousness and therapy related moving forward.
Yep. HealwithUri.com. Next time we get together, I will be in my mom's womb.
Fun, excited.
At least that's the plan. It was great talking with you, and I look forward to next time.
Next time.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Happy full month.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes. and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.